So they have not found live hostages or live high up important Hamas militant leaders. So if they were there, as Israel alleges, they've got them out. What they have found is the weapons that we saw in that report. So they have found that comms equipment, and on some of the laptops that they found there, they say there were images or material linked back to the October the 7th Hamas attack inside Israel, and also images of some of the hostages, some even from before October the 7th, suggesting they'd been trailing them before that. We have Israeli and Palestinian reports from both sides of the line saying that there have been IDF, I will call them either interviews or interrogations with hospital staff, checking, were they operating, had they seen and were they operating on Hamas militants, and more importantly, from Israel's point of view, on hostages. And we have heard reports, I can't confirm the reason, that Israel has taken some bodies from from Shifa Hospital back to Israel, perhaps a suggestion that they might be hostages, but I have to confirm that for you. So all of that, while there's not, no comms or a fall in all the communications at the moment, and we've saw Saudi Arabia today joining with Israel's real regional ally, Jordan, in condemning this raid by Israel into the hospital, even as the US says, reaffirms the fact that they do have intelligence supporting the fact that beneath this hospital there is some Hamas command and control presence.
Meanwhile, the blockade of Gaza continues. The UN's refugee agency for Gaza saying that for lack of fuel, telecom's transmitters aren't working, and so there's a new communications blackout in the Gaza Strip.
That's right. There is that communications blackout, which makes getting, fresh information very difficult. And let's just think about the lives of all the people there who now don't have communications, don't have much water, don't have much food, don't have enough fuel to make electricity, because they don't have mains electricity anymore. They don't have that for 40 days, basically, 41 now. And we have heard from the UN Refugee Agency that it is an outrageous that it should be begging for fuel. I'll remind you, fuel was brought in yesterday, but very limited amount, only enough for the vehicles to go backwards and forwards from the checkpoint and bring aid, not enough for any other purpose, because Israel fears that Hamas will just take that fuel for its own purposes. And what we heard from the UN Refugee Agency today is that this is and I quote, an act, a purposeful, a deliberate act to strangle UNRWA, to strangle the UN Refugee Agency there.
Meanwhile, there's other fronts. We have Hamas in the last minutes, Irris, claiming responsibility for a shooting near Jerusalem at a checkpoint. 3 militants killed, 1 Israeli soldier.
That's right. That was earlier today. And what the Israeli police say was these 3 militants were very well armed. And when their car was stopped, they realized that whatever it was they were planning, they were coming from the south. In fact, they were from Hebron, and a Hamas cell from Hebron, it now appears, since Hamas has taken responsibility. They were coming from the south. They were planning to go into Jerusalem. They were extremely well armed with weapons, guns, M16s, axes, all that kind of equipment for a large attack inside Jerusalem, say Israeli police. When they realized that their car was being searched, they pulled their weapons out and attacked the soldiers doing the searching, or the police doing the searching. So those 3 were killed, and one of the Israeli soldiers was killed, 5 more wounded. The thing that I want to say is this comes after, I think, about 200 people, 200 Palestinians have died in the West Bank since October the 7th, hundreds and hundreds more taken prisoner arrested, let me say, in nightly raids, almost nightly raids by Israeli police. So there's clashes. And what Washington has been warning Israel within the last 24 hours is that what they see is a possible explosion in the West Bank. And they're really warning Israel to look out to how it behaves in the West Bank, because it doesn't need a third front, and Palestinians in the West Bank don't need to live in that way.
Yeah, just to add